Cool Blue, you up?
Oh, GM.
How is it going?
It is a very friendly Friday, so it's going very well. Happy Friday, everyone. Bringing up Crypto Novo. All right. Yeah. Oh, wait. Were you able to bring Novo up?
I've tried.
Yeah, what's going on?
A couple times. Nope.
Hi, Claire. Let's bring you up as a speaker, and Nora.
I was too busy pushing the laughing button for the Friendly Friday that Leslie is cheering out to everyone in this wonderful September of the 9th Friday. It was a shortened work week. If you had Monday off, it felt like a 5-day work week. And I'm here to be with my friends, as I'm so happy to be at the end of the week. And that's why we call it a Friendly Friday, because it's always upon us and it's friendly in this space. I'm going to get some tunes going as we're inviting some friends up. Great to have Claire up here, longtime friend, as our speaker. We're going to pull some other ones up, but this is some Warp Sounds. It's an NFT I own, so I'm going to play it for some intro music. I hope you enjoy. And we're here on this Friendly Friday, still getting a wide range of awesome guests up. And I'm super excited about it because a little bit about my past being a physical education teacher. There's pretty much Adidas pants, hoodies, Chicago Bears stuff, Chicago Bulls stuff, sports related stuff, until this NFT, this thing called an NFT thing came around. And if you didn't know anything about Crypto Novo, but I dress like my CryptoPunk in IRL, in the metaverse, not really at home. If the kids want me to, sure. But fashion in this space is huge. I didn't know much about it, just because that really wasn't my mindset prior to reaching NFTs, but how it's changing not only the retail world, but the metaverse, everything in between, art, design. It just brings us to our spaces today. So Cool Blue, and we got D-Rob behind the mic. Friendly Friday. You guys want to do some chatting here on this Friendly Friday?
I guess not.
Wow. That was such a funny response. Sorry, I was literally just tweeting out that we were live.
Yeah, and I was waiting for Cool Blue. So yeah. you're trying to be respectful to each other, and then neither one said a thing.
I was laughing out loud. But yeah, very excited about this conversation. We have a full house today. A lot of speakers coming up because this is my favorite topic. And we have some wonderful people with us. Maybe we can do some quick intros. I want to start with Jackie first, because Jackie has been like the glue for so many of the speakers here. Jackie, how are you, GM?
Hi there, GM. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, coming through good.
Cool.
Would love to hear who you are. I mean, like, I know, but not everyone else has had the pleasure so far. Yet, I mean, would love to hear what you're working on and how you got into Web3.
Okay,
also,
cool.
I want to remind the speakers, this is going to be a super open conversation. We may not go one by one intro, so feel free to jump in whenever you feel it, and just introduce your name before. But yeah, thanks, Jackie. Take it away.
All right. Hi, everybody. I guess what I'm working on right now, I'm a founding BFF at BFF, along with some other people here, like Michelle, and part of some communities like World of Women. And my journey into Web3 started, I guess, like a year and a half ago, maybe. My background is I was in fashion PR for a long time, and sort of like early e-commerce build for high fashion brands. And then after I did that for a while, I had a digital resale business in the wedding space, kind of like the Real for Wedding. And that was acquired like 3 years ago. And so I started to kind of consult and angel invest, did a little bit in live stream shopping because I was interested in social commerce, and then started to get into Web3 mostly out of an interest to understand it, to consult, to invest, and also because I love kind of art and design, and I think I had heard right that the infrastructure of things like NFTs could really be supportive of creators, sort of of all sizes, and create more equity there. So that's how I kind of got in, and then I fell in love, I guess, with the people that I was meeting on Twitter and in Discord, and it felt like this is where I should be. But I don't know what I'm going to do, right? And so I really wanted to contribute, which is why I joined a lot of communities and things before I decided to kind of put something together myself. And then over the last year, actually, because one of some of the people here, right, because I met them, like Leslie and Claire and Michelle, we've been working on putting together this thing called Qualia. And we announced it actually yesterday PM in Hype Moon. And we will be rolling out the first phase of it officially on Monday the 12th. But it is a Web3 LVMH, and we're starting with, we have a Qualia Council of about 33, predominantly female, but not exclusively so. And many of the speakers here are on the council. And we'll be rolling out a by-application community called Qualia Collective on Monday, which will be 705 NFTs that will have access to the network and help us sort of build it. And then we'll be rolling out the creative arm and incubator more officially with a project in December, and then launching a capital arm in early next year. So anyway, Qualia is what I'm working on and passionate about, and blah, blah, blah. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, perfect timing too, because we are, I think today is officially the kickoff of Fashion Week in New York, and I'm so excited about it. Michelle, would love to hear, I know we're going to be going, you have a couple fun things going on tonight. Would love to check in with you. How are you doing? Introduce yourself really quick and tell me what you're excited about for New York Fashion Week. You traveled a long way to get here.
If you call 38 hours a long time, then yeah, it was kind of a long trip. But Leslie, Crypto Novo, I love you guys. So happy to be here. And Jackie, hearing your voice just makes all 38 hours, of which I'm pretty sure I smelled the worst I've ever smelled, totally worth it. So I'm here in New York. My journey probably started in 2016 when I first got into crypto. I always preface that I had enough skin in the game to care and to research, and I was actively looking to find people who were curious like me and to get through the clunky process that it was, and just stay informed. But sadly, not enough skin in the game that I can say that I am a Bitcoin billionaire. So, you know, if I find that time machine, I will make some changes.
You and me both, girl.
But, you know, I'm excited to see the space continue just to thrive and innovate and change. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mavion, which is a Web3 fashion NFT and platform that launched in March of this year. It really was from this idea that all these problems in Web2 were not being solved in fashion. Let's take things like IP protection. It's terrible in fashion. You've got so many independent designers producing beautiful pieces. They're stolen and then used from big, fast fashion retailers constantly. Let's talk about scale. How do you scale fashion in Web 2? You've got to mass produce. You know, Web 3 is offering so many new alternatives to how you can be successful because of things like IP protection, because of digital collectibles, because of scarcity in a new way. And so, you know, I can go on and on about all the things in fashion and Mavion, but to kind of cut to the chase, because there is so much excitement really kicking off today, Mavion is partnering with Rebecca Minkoff. And you know, this is a 17-year-old iconic brand that has been through so many evolutions of change. Rebecca is a total pioneer in the fashion space. And so we first started we've been friends for a while. We first started talking about NFTs actually in March when we launched. And we talked about how Mavion was creating this gateway to put consumers at the center of fashion. And she, of course, was just, I'm in. I want the consumer to be a part of the community, the inner circle. How do we do this? And so from March, Mavion and Rebecca Minkoff have been working together on this NFT collaboration. We did a small limited edition drop in July. We released 30 NFTs, of which 5 revealed, and those 5 holders are going to her Fashion Week show tonight. You know, these are opportunities in Fashion Week that you don't get as a consumer in the regular Web2 world. And actually, in fact, I was looking online. Shows are now selling tickets to their designers are now selling tickets to their shows, and some of them are $22,000 for a one-time ticket. And I think that just it keeps this transactional barrier between a brand and a consumer, whereas these NFTs are creating this relationship. You know, Rebecca, the Minkoff brand, and
I love
NFT
Rebecca.
holders. Yes, they get they're dating now. You know, they're going to the show. They're getting benefits.
It's amazing. I'm
cool.
such a fan of Mavion and really all fashion and Web3. I think the opportunity here is really special, especially whenever we think of how wearables are evolving, what Crypto Nova was talking about in the beginning. And I remember hearing a bit about Michelle's story, and you basically created wearables before wearables were like even a thing in Web3. So really inspiring. I want to open up the stage a bit and talk about just where we think the fashion industry is headed, because there are, in my opinion, I don't know if this is super biased or if this is just like a general consensus on Web3, but there are so many problems that are being solved through Web3 blockchain technology. And Michelle, you brought up one of those IP, the IP differences. And I would love to just ask all the other speakers, anyone in the audience, D-Rob, Alan Carroll, Soleil from the Vayner team, anyone who wants to chime in, where do you think the fashion industry is headed in general? Do you think it will be more Web3? And what's the opportunity look like here?
I feel like I have to pass to Claire to start on this one. Start like way ahead in the future, and then we can maybe.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that is.
Wait, introduce yourself first, though, Claire. Would love to hear a bit more about you.
Yeah, sure, totally. So I'm Claire Silver. I'm an AI collaborative artist. I am a 2017 CryptoPunk and an NFT evangelist. I am getting super, super into fashion. I always have been in terms of like doodling and daydreaming, but I haven't had the opportunity to go further until now. And I am fascinated by what Jackie and Qualia are doing. And also Charlie Cohen's Restless is really interesting to me. But my thought was essentially, so I work a lot with AI. I actually sent in the group chat a link to some fashion prototyping that I was doing with an AI model. And so you can put in one image as a source sort of inspiration and then endlessly iterate.
Morpheus, I'm new here.
As you like. So I see people creating their own fashion lines digitally a lot more easily, obviously, but also as houses allow, right now, like we're about to have AI text to image capability, but for 3D models. So how easy would it be to outsource that to a sewing company, a seamstress to make work for you physically? And then the digital and AR and all of that is obviously coming along now currently. So I think that, Web3 is going to be massive for the fashion industry and for digital identity in general, especially with people beginning to use motion capture avatars, Twitch streamers using, VTuber type of things. That's only going to evolve more with time. And, you want a full closet and you want to design some of it and you want to collab with some of it. So AI, Web3, fashion, definitely going to be massive.
Claire, you and I have been friends for a while. We haven't spoken a while, but we know where this technology is going. We know where this technology is leading. To one of the questions that Hizzy brought up is, are we going to be able to go to a store, be able to buy something IRL, have it attached to something digital? And I think that's just at the forefront of what the consumers are going to want. Maybe not so much someone who's maybe a little bit in their older years, but this younger generation, that's the engagement that they want. And that's how you're going to actually get people into the storefronts, is through this type of things. I wanted to know from anyone other of our speakers who haven't had a chance to speak, your thoughts on where this is going to be driving in the future.
I'll say I was kind of first introduced to, digital fashion. I just pinned it at the top. During the pandemic, we couldn't really have fashion shows, and this brand named Hanifa dropped no. Can you guys hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Soleil.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think I was being rugged. But I was saying that yeah, I saw a digital fashion show during the pandemic when we couldn't really go to fashion shows. And so it's going to be really cool to see where fashion takes it through Web3. I just pinned it to the top so you guys can kind of see how it was done, where these models were like, it was completely digital. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, so cool. I was going to add to the thing about the digital aspect. I think a lot of it also has to do with, access, not to experiencing the fashion, right, and experiencing the community around it, but also to actually creating it, maybe a little more to Claire's. I think there's hopefully going to be less barrier sort of to entry for creators and consumers. Like I grew up in a very small town in Iowa, so access for me is something that I think about a lot.
Also, just the possibilities of being able to say, I would like a transparent gown made of seafoam and marble. Being able to use AI and 3D assets to make that. It may not be possible to do it physically, but you could certainly wear it in metaverse or for photographs. Yeah, super cool.
Oh my goodness, I want that gown. Can you just save that prompt?
Totally.
I know. You know who I want to hear from? Wasn't it? Did we lose Inara?
Well, Claire, going back to your further point with Pindar's things where you can actually verbally speak with technology to create an AI image that I think Pindar had it, the Quantum Dreams, and just like how you can do that, and just how it's a cool way of actually you can go shopping that way, and you can bring in your thoughts or ideas and have a unique experience in creating something through AI generated stuff. But some of those things can be turned into textiles and physicals now as well.
Totally.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out. We have Inara back. Will you introduce yourself really quick? Also, it's your birthday, right?
Yes, it is. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I had a bit of a weird 30-second delay in the conversation, so I jumped in and Soleil rudely interrupted you. Sorry about that. But my name is Inara. I started working in fashion maybe like a decade ago. I loved it for the creativity and how inspirational it was, but I hated the business. It was not really built in favor of people that were on the creative side of the business, and it was primarily ran by men, both on the designer side, it was primarily men, on the business side, it was men, and it just felt like you as a participant was always at the end of the creative process, and I felt like, this is not the most inspiring thing for somebody who likes to build, so I transitioned into tech, which gave me a lot more agency to create solutions. I built a couple schools, tried to help to get more people that are non-technical into the space. And fashion definitely qualifies as a non-technical industry. I mean, who know their craft, but they don't necessarily interact or interface with computers with ease. So in 2019, there was a conference here that had invited the Luxo team to talk about the intersection of crypto and how it potentially might interact with fashion. I remember listening to them and thinking, wow, yes, this is exactly the future. This makes so much sense. And I turned around to look at the audience, and they just were like furrowing their brows, not really understanding what they're talking about. And I thought, okay, we're definitely early. There's absolutely no indicators in the market describing that this is going to happen. So I understand their skepticism. But then the pandemic put the perfect amount of pressure for people to go, remember that thing people talked about, like digitizing clothes? Like maybe we should do that now. So I started to kind of create spaces for those conversations between the technologists and people that had fashion brands to understand how can they actually go through the adoption process and start building solutions in the space. I help companies figure out what that looks like, and also have a startup that's essentially trying to bring clothing to fans of large artists. And so far it's been a really interesting journey, which brought me to meeting Jackie, and now I got to meet Michelle, listening to Claire, Sully. So I think it's been also a very not a lonely journey, which is what made this kind of so much more interesting.
No, I have a question. What is the most, whenever you're speaking with all of these people, what is one of your commonly asked questions? Like, what do you explain the most?
I think
I'm so grateful that we finally moved away from what is digital fashion. I think that's not being asked anymore, which is really great. Like people haven't seen it, they've interacted with it, we've kind of passed that hump. Now it's like, where do I start? Which tool should I be using? Should I be dropping an NFT? If I want to make a physical garment, it's like the how questions are actually not similar to each other. They're quite different, but everybody wants to know, how can I take what I have and my IP and transition it into a virtual space? I think there's a really beautiful moment that's happening right now. There's a lot of worlds and spaces that were created for very different purposes, like Roblox and gaming. Like none of those spaces were built originally as metaverses, but they're now serving as social spaces where virtual interaction is normalized. So I think we're going to go through a moment where people will learn and start to experiment how to behave. And when spaces mature, the garments and the strategy for how to roll them out will also mature.
I'd like to add with that is this, like, one of the first things that you can do in a metaverse is apply clothing to your character, whatever it may be, even if it's an animal. Second, happy birthday. Third, I love the big shades that you have in your up on the top of your Twitter bio. So I'm already looking at fashion where I would never even look at it times before, and I'm always looking for big shades to accessorize my crypto punk. OG Claire over there, kind of someone who helped me in Discord early in the crypto punk process, and help formulate plans and ideas and find the right people to work with and trust in the space. So we always have a little bit of a theme here on Vayner 3 is we have to be the guardians of the galaxy of this space and introduce the cool things to the cool people so they can bring it to the forefront of, at the end of the day, is helping monetize your ideas to getting it out to others, because that's the great equalizer in all this Web3 capacity.
Yeah, and collaboration. Novo actually was the first person to make me motion capture avatar to do any of this with a million years ago. And that sort of like started my path of exploring digital identity. So anyway, I just had to shout that out.
While we can stay anonymous as well, which is an aspect that people want to reach in this space, but while also building a community and trust while staying anonymous, which is difficult to do, but it's proof in the hard work that you've put in, and similar to hard work that many of us have put in. Cool Blue approached me about it back in the day. If you look up on the pinned tweets, I think it's the top, the first one there's, she just followed suit. She's just like, how do I become a Cool Blue? And I was like, just do it. And then the next day she was Cool Blue, honestly. And that's just how it worked. And she took the steps of just following through with her idea and concept. And she didn't need clearance from me, but she saw that I guess someone was as crazy as her and decided to go through with it, and it's having fun along the way. And that's what's important. And through that, be very fashion forward. And that's what she has, is the passion project to bring like-minded individuals like the people on this panel here today. So Cool Blue, tassel hat off to you for being 2 steps ahead and showing me these avenues, because I'm learning along the way.
No, that's such a fun part about the space is like there are so many things that only we either understand, which is why so many of us can help other people or we'll be the ones explaining the what. And I love to hear that. I agree. I think it's moving more towards like explaining the how now. But one thing that's so exciting about the space is that it's so small right now. You know, we're more collaborative than ever, and we can be inspired by each other. And although it's small, or basically because it's small, we want to feel like we're not alone in this, and there's a certain type of camaraderie in being this early and being this niche. And yeah, every time I went to NFT NYC and really any event as Cool Blue, I was always like, I can't wait to find Nova. Like, where's Nova? Like, I wanted to be around someone else who was doing what I'm calling fashion in a Web3 way. So I love that. And I think that's something really special about how we can just come together and just do what we like and find other people who like it too, even if it's just art or fashion design. And it's interesting. Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that you guys are living, walking in real life examples of how Web3 can only feel approachable to people who haven't entered the space. And I think fashion is such a great bridge to do just that. You know, people are comfortable in fashion. Fashion casts a really wide net of diversity and tastes and culture and style. And so more people can now be a part of the conversation that I think all of last year they felt so left behind. So I'm really excited for the more that you actually do physically represent it. I think you're doing such a great service for the industry as well. And I think just fashion has such a huge opportunity to keep, welcoming people into the space through its very existence.
I have a question too. Whenever, Michelle, I feel like you would know this too because you're doing Fashion Week activations and you're going to be on panels and it's going to be really exciting. And I want to hear about, there's so many different avenues I could take this, but I want to hear about why or do you think it's so important for people in fashion, and this will eventually be on a larger scale, but to do things around in-person industry-related events? Why is it important to be involved during New York Fashion Week, like an in-person, mostly IRL event, even though we're talking about a digital space? Yeah, I see a hand up. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, sorry. I think I actually got bugged before because I was trying to say something actually right after Inara, but I couldn't actually speak. So it's so great to be here and see so many familiar faces. Thanks so much for Jackie for putting me on here, and of course Inara. Hi to everyone else. I'm super excited. I actually wanted to contribute to that, but just really quickly introduce myself. I'm Ashimi. I am the founder and CEO of Mad Global. We are a innovation-focused creative production agency based in London, and I actually started Mad back in 2009, coming from a background really in media and publishing from Condé Nast International, and then also I worked at Net-a-Porter and the British Fashion Council. And really over the last 7 years, the industry has changed so much. And something that really has always been such an amazing place for me to be in this of Web3 has been, obviously fashion is, like other industries as well, like art, such a gated industry. And for everything that I've always contributed to, I always felt like at length, but obviously doing projects more in the Web3 space, it's just felt so inclusive and there's so much knowledge share that happens to sort of move the space forward. And I think that's one of the things that has been so amazing for me and quite pivotal actually, because coming together as a community to have these shared experiences is so important, whether that's for fashion or for art. And one of the things that we're doing during London Fashion Week next weekend is we're doing a digital fashion weekend that actually Inara is coming to speak at, and we're kind of using 2 days of immersive content in an amazing venue with like LED panels to use and really use it as a like celebration of the digital art and digital fashion, to spotlight and celebrate where that's come to and where that's been in a really curated format. And actually, like coming together to have this shared experience as a community is so moving. You kind of feel so emotionally attached to something, especially when you're seeing the content shift from that format of the way it's usually shared either on your screen or the way you're consuming it maybe on your computer, but actually being immersed in it in a physical space is really important. So yeah, I just wanted to add to that.
Because we're seeing that transition of, people moving away from their computers and getting in that IRL interaction, and having that blend is important. Where some of us were stuck at home, and that's where you saw the accelerant of metaverses happen, because your social loops were linked in with your computer. Now these social loops are linked in multiple ways with your phone, computer, Web3 technology, IRL events, and also Web2 based products as well.
I think it's a great point. And by the way, hi Ashimi, it's so nice to meet you. I feel like our paths have crossed in so many ways that this is the first time we're in a spaces together.
I know. Hi Michelle. So it's so great that we're speaking on spaces as well now, and it's a great way to be connected as well.
Absolutely. I wanted to kind of add to what you're talking about too. I think there's this underlying current that we should probably all put to bed. It's not digital versus physical. Like these can both and should both exist. We don't just have friendships because of social media. They're enhanced because we go and see them at birthday parties and dinners and for beach days. And then social media allows us to bridge a new dimension of that friendship. The same thing in fashion. The digital version versus the physical version can complement each other and our lives in different ways. So let's talk about how they can collaborate, how they can operate and exist, whether it's your favorite designer or it's your own creation. What does that look like? And what are the benefits of each? One is more practical as you take the New York subway and race around to, run errands, versus one is coming alight in flames and dripping butterflies as you walk through Decentraland. There's a space for those in all of our lives, and I don't think it has to be this competitive, like one versus the other. So I'm excited for how that comes together.
Yeah, I actually really echo that, and I'm actually also looking forward to the time where possibly we have wearables, and even in our physical lives, our clothes will be augmented by the digital designs that we see in the sort of digital realities that we live online. So I don't think that's very far into the future either, actually, and I'm really excited for something like that.
I think that's a perfect transition to me, because that reality is here and now. Non-fungible Tony Herrera, Claire, you're very familiar with him. His brother-in-law made me a physical suit, and he's done suits for Lady Gaga and other famous people in the LA area. And that same exact physical suit, and keep in mind, the last time I probably had a physical suit measured for me was I was like maybe going to bar and bat mitzvahs back in the day for my friends. Or my wedding, I guess. And that physical suit was turned into a Decentraland wearable. And those wearables I kind of give away as my business cards to people. Feel free to contact me if you need one of those. I'm not going to show that out right now, but that is there and on stage. And we are seeing Cool Blue on stage moderating panels dressed up as her world of women, bubblegum, pearl glasses and all. So that reality is here. And when Cool Blue says she was like looking around for Crypto Nova and other people that are dressed like, there's lots of them out there, and it's not looking around. It's just finding them, because we're all like-minded individuals. It's self-promotion. It's fun back in the day, and almost going back to the digital and physical is not a competition. They complement each other very well. We're going to close out the space here in a couple minutes, because I know we're overdue for our normal meetings that are start up about 3 minutes ago. D-Rob, Soleil, or Cool Blue from the Vayner 3 team. Anything you guys want to add or talk about?
I'm just really excited to see where fashion and, what this means for independent artists as well, and fashion designers, that don't have, a huge backing, and who have a Web3 community backing them. So I'm just excited to see where this takes us.
Yeah, and I know Michelle has to run. Totally fine. You're a busy woman. You just got to New York, and I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of the space.
Thank you. And thank you so much to everyone else who's joined. Jackie for connecting so many of us. Claire, Inara, Shumi, Vayner team, Soleil, D-Rob. Sorry, Michelle, were you jumping in? Oh, nope, she's jumping out. And really, thank you to all of our listeners, everyone involved in the space and who helps to really support whatever industry it is that you love in this Web3 space. So that's it for me. Feel free to close out Crypto Novo unless anyone else has any last words.
Thanks for the followers down below. Hizzy, love the question. 6, keep on doing it well. Drip Baller, listening every single time. And we're just here to pass on the information. These are almost just like live business meetings and catching up with people and connecting people that, have been connected, but sometimes don't have a chance to chat with each other. but we have to connect the digitals and the physicals. And just like I end every space, get those peace signs ready, because we need two of these things to tango. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it's the same thing in apparel. You draw these concepts down, you draw these concepts out before you actually turn it into a concept. If it's digital, if it's physical, it doesn't matter, because they are interwoven. So with that, I want you to go into this weekend having a friendly Friday, and to stay positive, get those peace signs ready. Stay positive and love life. Peace. Cue music, and I'm a little behind on that, so we'll just sing it out.